All right, let's talk about guys or a guy that you are a little bit lower on than others, and that is Mark Williams, the 7'2" center, 21 years of age, or he will be 21 in the first month or two of the season. 7'2" center from Duke, routinely mocked at the end of the lottery in that 13 to 15 zone, with Charlotte having those picks, because obviously they've had a need at center for about 10 years, it feels like. He is a sophomore. He played 24 minutes a night, average 11 and 7, almost 3 blocks per game. But a lot of hype for him came after the combine with some of the measurements, with a 7'7" wingspan, which is obviously insanely high. So, in terms of you being a little bit more down on him, is it because you don't think that he should be a lottery player because of what the strengths he's bringing? Maybe you're not as high on those, or it's the fit of him in the modern NBA where you wouldn't want to waste a lottery pick on maybe someone with such limited offensive ability or maybe limitations in defensive switchability?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a combination of both. You look at sort of, what you kind of want out of that lottery level big man. And obviously he's going to bring the rim protection, 7'7" wingspan, 9'9" standing reach. Like, that's ridiculous. He's going to bring somebody who is a high level finisher, has good touch, and also a lob threat, potential vertical spacer as well. But on the flip side of that, is he really bringing you much as a playmaker? It's not somebody who you're going to really throw the ball into and tell him to go get you a bucket as a scorer. And also hasn't really shown much as a shooter either. So you kind of have those factors, and also like what you mentioned before, somebody who, in terms of like scheme versatility, is somebody who's going to be a mostly drop big. Now, he is mobile enough to maybe be up to the level on screens and things like that, and had some great moments out to like 15, 18 feet, kind of defending guards and holding his own, because that length is a great equalizer in a lot of situations. But when we're talking lottery and then kind of comparing him with like a guy like Jalen Duren, who does have those flashes of playmaking and is a better athlete in a lot of ways, and has some other aspects to his game that's just not there in the same ways. Now, for Charlotte specifically, I don't really mind it, because, like you mentioned, like, they do need a big man and somebody who brings sort of that value in terms of rim protection in a way that they just haven't had for really a long time, really ever. So I wouldn't mind it, particularly in that situation, 13 or 15. But when you start seeing places where they're marking him at 9, or to the Knicks and things like that, I start to get a little bit more pause on that, and I just don't really, I just don't really value him in that way, in the same way.
So there are people who, in mocks or comparisons, will say they prefer him over Jalen Duren. I can't get behind that at all, and I'm guessing you can't see a world in which that would be something that you would want to do either.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think Duren has shown more in terms of upside. He's younger as well, a better vertical athlete. Um, a ton of different things. Doesn't have the measurables. He's not 7'2" in shoes with the, 9'9" standing reach and things of that nature. But I think there's just a lot more to his game and a little bit more upside that you would want for a lottery level big man. So that's kind of the reason that I turn towards Duren.
One thing we always want to look at with big men is there any stretchability in the offense? And he did hit 73% of his free throws, which is not absolutely elite, but it's also really solid and really serviceable. Is there any ability for him to be able to take a long to mid-range face-up jumper? Can he stretch out and hit corner threes eventually? Or is he just going to be a, hey, I'm catching lobs and dump off sort of player?
Yeah, I think I would bet that he's a, just lob rim runner type of guy, but he did, hit several mid-range jumpers throughout the season. He hit this one Dirk fade in the tournament, that, and the free throw percentage, like you said, that are pretty suggestive to like maybe he's able to shoot. Um, but like from this vantage point, there's no way you can put like a ton of real stock into that with such low volume, and we've never really seen it. Um, but it's kind of like in your back pocket, like, okay, maybe he's able to shoot it if you're in an NBA organization. It's something that you kind of try to water the seed. But other than that, I wouldn't place too much stock into it.
We're going to talk about